What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I could not be more excited and I can't get this smile off my face because we finally have dino ribs at North Star Bison. Now that right there is a rack of ribs. So I'm gonna show everybody how you can do it in your oven. All right, so first things first, just like any set of ribs, you're gonna wanna trim off some of the fat as well as the membrane that's underneath. If you keep this shiny membrane on, it's just gonna be very hard to eat later on and a little bit tough. So you can either A, score it, or you can remove it completely. We're gonna try to remove this guy completely though. And just like that, the membrane is off. These are Bison dino ribs. They are gonna be leaner than a traditional beef rib. So you're gonna see that most of the fat is actually off of it. I always like to keep my trimmings though, because you can use it to flavor pans in different dishes later on. And now we're gonna get to seasoning this guy. First, we're gonna start off with a binder. A lot of people use mustard, some people use jelly. I tend to just go in with olive oil. It's the simplest. And since we're not gonna be cooking this very high temperature, it's completely fine. You don't have to worry about the oil breaking down. We're gonna give it a rub in on both sides. Since we aren't using a smoker, we're not gonna get that smoky flavor, but I do want that smoky flavor as well. So what I'm gonna use is a little bit of liquid smoke. I tend to go with this one just because there's no preservatives in it, there's nothing in it, it's just the liquid smoke flavor without any of the crap. And you don't need a lot of this stuff, just a couple drops. And you can already smell the smokiness coming off that thing, which is gonna make this taste phenomenal when we're done. And you can use whatever barbecue seasoning you want on this, but I'm gonna use a couple different ones for mine. And all three of these are coming from my friends over at Dude's Gourmet. The first one's gonna be Pitmaster Rub, and seeing the fact that this is such a big cut of meat, you can really over season on this guy. After that, we're gonna go in with some of their Sweet Baby Jesus. This has a little bit of brown sugar in it, which is gonna help with that caramelization later on. And then we're gonna go with a little bit of sweetness with honey chipotle. And you know me, I always go in with garlic powder. And we're gonna do the exact same thing to the other side. Now I'm gonna let this rest for about 1 hour. Now we're gonna preheat our oven to 270 degrees. All that guys preheating, let's get everything else set up. And for setup, it really doesn't take much. I like to get one piece of aluminum foil, place it in the bottom of my baking sheet. Now we're gonna lay down our racks and we're gonna add our ribs right on top. A lot of people will just take this, throw it in the oven. I don't like to do that because I feel like it dries out the ribs a little bit too much. So what I'm gonna do is add some liquid to the base and then we're gonna tent it with more foil and throw it in the oven for about 3.5 hours. All right, oven is now preheated, so let's throw it in there. So now we're gonna cook for about 3.5 hours. What you wanna remember though is everybody's oven's different. So what 270 might be in mine might be completely different than what yours is. Some ovens run hotter, some ovens run colder. So you really have to be meticulous with this after about 3 hours. We're gonna go for about 3.5 hours and I'm gonna start checking it. So we'll see when we start to check. All right, so we're just about ready at 3.5 hours. That alarm is about to go off. What we're gonna do is we're gonna pull it out, check what the internal temperature is. I don't tend to go off of internal temperature really. I want it about 200 degrees right now, but I really go off of feel, and I'm gonna show you how I check it. So let's check an internal temp really quick. And we're reading right at about 190, which is exactly where I wanna be right now. But for me, I like to go off of feel. So what I'm gonna do is use the toothpick or the skewer test. What you do is you take a skewer or a toothpick, push it down, and you just wanna see how much give you get back. So what I like to do is just slowly push it in. I almost like to have it have like a banana consistency or a really cold stick of butter consistency. So this isn't quite there yet. I'm going to throw some barbecue sauce on this and throw it back in the oven for a little bit longer. And you can use whatever barbecue sauce you want. I'm just going with this one, which is a hickory barbecue sauce. And then we're just gonna brush it on, make sure it's completely coated. And you know, we actually have some of these awesome pan drippings down below. I'm gonna take some of that and throw it on there as well. Now we're gonna go back in the oven uncovered for about 10 minutes. All right, now we're getting ready to take these guys out of the oven. I'm gonna wrap them in aluminum foil and let them rest for at least an hour. If you have some butcher paper, that's the best. I only have aluminum foil right now, which will work, but you wanna let these guys rest. I'm also probably gonna take some of that juice and roll that in there as well, just to give it a little bit more moisture. So let's take them out, wrap them up, and give them a break. All right, now we're all wrapped up, so we're gonna let it rest for about an hour and then we'll cut it and see how we did. All right, it's been exactly 1 hour, so let's unwrap and see how we look. All right, from the outside, we're looking phenomenal, but we don't know anything until we cut into it. So let's get to it. All right, as you can see, that guy is juicy as can be, but you don't know until you try it. Let's give it a shot. That is killer. These guys are so much fun to make. They're so easy as well. And if you have a party going on, it's definitely a staple piece that everybody's gonna enjoy. So if you guys enjoyed this video, leave it a like. Let us know in the comments what you wanna see more of. Let us know, have you tried a dino rib before? And if not, are you gonna try it? If you guys wanna try out some dino ribs or any other awesome meats, head over to northstarbison.com right now. And if you have any questions or if you wanna see a specific meat and how to cook it, let us know in the comments as well. But thanks again for hanging out. Until we see you again, we'll talk soon. Peace. This is honestly my new favorite thing. Oh.